What's going on, guys? It's Mike Norris coming at you with a little double feature today. I've got John Pinto and Vince Pinto. What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having us.
Of course. So I've known a little bit of background before we get started here. I've known these guys for a while. We all went to high school together. I went to college with Johnny as well, and then obviously we've kept in touch since. So it's been very good. I've watched them grow their businesses, I will say, over time here, and I think they can provide quite a bit for the conversation. So, Johnny, do you want to go into a little bit of background on what you guys do and how you got to where you're at?
Sure. Yeah, so a little bit about Vince and I. We are brothers. Our primary company is JV Studios, J for John, V for Vince. And pretty much, it all started with a vision. Vince has always been really drawn to, strong visuals and producing video content. And with my producing background, one day it just clicked and we just decided to collaborate. And 2012, JV Studios was born. And a couple years later, we got our first studio and, here we are now. So that's kind of a little background, JV, just a light touch on it.
Sure.
But it's great and we love it.
Yeah. So Vince, how did you guys know when to team up as brothers and start a family business? I feel like that's pretty unique.
Yeah, a lot of people say don't go in business with family, but I felt like John and I, before going into business, we got really close as brothers, as best friends. And so I guess the third tier would be let's go into business together. What happened was, I think it was, I don't know, I was always like trying to do stuff creatively. Always felt like I had all these ideas, and John kind of was more like a vessel for guidance, and him being the older brother, it's how it was growing up. So he's always like, you have all these good ideas, but let's channel them. And so we kind of worked on a project together that benefited John and I. John was, getting in the music realm, and we teamed up on a little project. And once we posted that, it was kind of a lot of fun. We got a lot of feedback, more than we thought, just people supporting us, friends, family. And then we kind of looked at each other like, hey, let's try to actually push this seriously. And so then eventually it really started, a lot of our friends and family kind of giving us little side gigs and shoot us a little commercial, maybe do a little wedding. And it just was the ripple effect, and one after the other kept learning. And then we really came together like, this is it. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. So how do you, Johnny, I'll ask you this. How do you guys separate out responsibilities?
Yeah, so in the beginning, it was a little interesting. We're both creatives. We're both, good at management. We both have a lot of really good ideas. In the beginning, it was, it was kind of like, all right, I'm going to shoot, you're going to shoot. I'm going to edit, you're going to edit. I have this idea, you have this idea. And in the beginning of the growth phase, it was kind of, a little rough. And then one day, like Vince was saying, it just clicked. And it was like, wow, let's play to our strengths. So from that moment on, the way that we separate our roles in the company, I'm the managing director and creative producer. So I'm client facing, talking with clients, building out proposals, working with Vince to find who's the best crew, what equipment do we want. But I handle more of the management business end, and Vince handles the creative end.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So you guys have, as we touched on, you guys have two businesses, right? You got the JV Studios, you got Belladonna as well. Vince, how did you guys decide to break those up and just, why two?
Yeah. So great question. I think in the beginning when we chose JV Studios, it was kind of just like this idea of like, hey, two brothers, let's just make some videos. And once we started seeing people really want to hire us professionally, we kind of were just like this magnet and like, in a way, just kind of being yes men, just like, yeah, we'll take this gig. Oh, we'll do this. And so what ended up happening was we kind of backed ourselves into a corner of, JV Studios. People would go on our website and they'd say, oh, they do weddings, they do commercials, they do music videos, they do event recaps. And so in the beginning, it was super cool because we were kind of just like, yeah, this is new business. We'll take anything. And then we hit a moment where we're like, all right, well, clients now on a commercial business to business end, we're like not too concerned about seeing someone get married. So me and John were like, hey, if we really want to kind of keep these businesses thriving in the markets that we're trying to push, we can't really be this umbrella of everything. So let's maybe try to refocus and reposition and not essentially say no to weddings for JV, but let's rebrand. So we created a sister company called Belladonna Studios. And that was literally just to be able to not say no to people that were inquiring to JV Studios, but to also funnel them. And now a few years later, we started off just doing video, and now we're offering photo, video, and now JV has the ability to just really go into a commercial market, business to business, music, without feeling like kind of trapped and saying no. So yeah, it was a big leap, and it took a lot of brain power to make that separation, but super grateful. And I think it's opened a lot of doors for us.
Yeah. And I think it's a good delineation that you guys have made too, because weddings are obviously very different than, like music festivals and all that other thing you guys are doing.
Oh yeah.
And I think you've worked your way up to some pretty big, you guys have done some big stuff. You've done my wedding.
Yeah.
I had to toss it in there. No, but you've done like big music festivals. You've done stuff for like, I mean, names that people know. How did you work your way up into some of those bigger projects? I'll leave it open-ended, whoever wants to.
Yeah. John, maybe I can jump into that. I feel like
go ahead.
In the beginning, I think we are super fortunate to connect with some really kind of connected people, I guess more so in the music scene. And so from that, being based in Chicago, obviously a lot of people in this industry will end up traveling and going on tour and stuff. So what ends up happening is that you kind of be known as a Chicago crew. And then I remember we were just connected with some promoters, and we got reached out to do one of our festivals. And kind of once you get in that network, I feel like, once your name kind of, you deliver and you kind of do a good job, people kind of catch wind, and then it's like, hey, I'm this promoter doing this festival. So that's kind of how that music scene happened for us. And I think as far as the commercial work, I mean, again, I think it's just kind of a ripple, word of mouth for us. Gratefully,
Yeah.
we've kind of just been connected, and people have been, they see the work, they see a great job, and then it just leads to other people. And John, I don't know if you want to kind of shed more on the business end of that, but.
Yeah. So I really think it all just comes down to networking,
Sure.
Meeting one person, doing a great job. Someone reaches out, hey, we're looking for a video company. Hey, try these guys out. And it just keeps going. And, the web, I think, continues to grow the more people you meet, maintaining, good relationships, good boundaries, and just, doing a good job being a good person. And that's for us. It's like, we've had some things where we'll meet one person at a coffee shop. 3 years later, they reach out to us saying, hey, my company's looking for something.
Sure.
And so that's why for us, our biggest thing is you never know who you're going to meet. So it's always good to just, just be a stand-up person, be truthful, look them in the eye when you give them a handshake, and you never know where it's going to lead,
Yeah. And I think too, if you don't want to dedicate too much in terms of time and resources towards marketing and selling yourselves, and I mean, there's only so much you can dedicate, right? Like, you're running a business, you're doing all these other things, but just doing great work and kind of like, not burning bridges, maintaining great relationships, I think is a good marketing strategy. I know, it sounds like you're not really doing marketing, but I think you are just by not you guys. Like, I'm not saying
right.
But yeah, no, for real. And I mean, that's kind of like how Youtech has grown too.
Yeah.
We've done some stuff, but for the most part, it's word of mouth. It's doing a great job. It's helping people out, and then, they tell someone else, and we're happy to help. So I like that.
Yeah, I also think, just to piggyback off both of you, I think even our business, I'm sure what you guys are Youtech, because you guys are in like the digital creative world, but almost every project that you put out, hey, we just finished a video for this client, that is essentially our marketing tool. People see that video, they love it, they think it's great, now they want one for their company.
Yeah.
So it's almost like to go out and create ads. I mean, I think it's definitely something we're slowly getting into, but like every video we've kind of put out, normally we get a few leads just based on a post of a video. So I think that's pretty awesome, and it's been working. So
yeah, and you guys use social media quite a bit for that broadcasting of the work you've done, and I know you do pretty well on social media. I see some solid engagement. I love watching your videos when they come up in my feed. I'm always like, oh yeah. I like the yearly recap ones. Those
nice.
are nice.
Cool, that's good to know.
Yeah. A little feedback for you. I got you. But no, those are super cool, man. And especially when you guys have a service or a product like video in your arsenal, it's just so powerful to be able to use that, because I mean, who doesn't want to see something beautiful in their feed when they're just scrolling, you know?
Totally.
And that's kind of, I think that's kind of unique in terms of what you guys have, because video is hard for a lot of people, you know, like even for me to come in and, you know, like record video and do stuff like that. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I bought what I think is a pretty nice mic here.
Oh, nice. There you go.
You know, I got a nice camera, but like, this is a low budget operation, right? But you guys have like all that amazing stuff that you can use. You can edit well. You can, you know, create these awesome highlight videos. And to me, that's something that I think can really set you apart.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what would you guys say has been your biggest challenge up to this point, just in terms of growing the business and figuring things out? It might be different things from each of you too.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, John, but you got to think about it. I can jump in if you
Go
want.
ahead.
I think the biggest challenge, so it's been like, so 2012 was like we were in the parents' basement, and then like those years leading, right? I think it's not so much, I mean, I guess it was a good challenge. It was a growth challenge. Like, we're like, hey, we need to get out of the basement. Let's make this feel real. Let's make it feel like a real job, being self-employed. Like, how do we not really put ourselves in a box of like this 9 to 5, but also like still kind of like keep each other accountable. Like, this is our job. So like getting the studio spaces over the year, I mean, we definitely bounced around. I mean, I think almost every year for like the last 5 years, we jumped into a new office, studio space, stayed there for a year, you know, and bounced around. And with that, I think a lot of us, we learned that everything comes back to the core of it being me and Johnny. And really, it's not so much like, it's awesome to be able to work in a really cool office and have cool features or have a big space and have people work in it. But I think if the core of the business isn't on the same page, and you're more doing it for like the image of like, oh, we have this really cool big studio now, and we can have a loft party, which like we did. I think we learned, you know, we kind of, I don't know, we kind of, you know, bumped ourselves a little bit and like, you know, got distracted a little bit. And then like now with this whole COVID, it's kind of, I think, really opened up our mind and like where we need to put our focus. And it's not so much the pretty studios and awesome chairs and, you know, features and coffee things. It's more me and Johnny to be on the same page. And with COVID, like working remotely, I mean, I think it's been such a test of like, we may not even need an office. We can just be remote wherever we're at and go from there. So,
I think that's been a pretty common, you know, thing that you've heard lately with COVID is people thinking to themselves, you know, we need an office, we need or a studio in your sense. And then you realize you're like, oh, maybe I really don't.
Yeah. Because everything we do it's in the field, you know, unless it's post-production, which, you know, with technology these days, we can do it right on our laptop or desktop, you know. So if we're going out to shoot, we were at a restaurant the other day shooting some stuff, grand opening. And that was our office. That was our studio for the day, you know? So like having that in mind, it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Is there another obstacle that you'd like to talk about too?
I think for me, especially on the management end, I think it's, you know, maintaining relationships, because you have you have business relationships, you have friendship relationships. And I think it's important to always, I mean, I think boundaries is huge. In the beginning, you know, Vince was saying, he mentioned the word yes man, you know, in the beginning it was very, oh yes. But as, you know, the business grows and, you know, even with contractors, clients, you know, you have to have, at least for me, set up this, I don't know, like this cushion where you want to give, but you don't want to give too much where you're being taken advantage of. And when you feel taken advantage of, you don't want to just shut people down, because it's, you know, it's your name on the line. And so I think for me, that's probably been one of my biggest things. And I've had, especially this year, some tremendous growth of just looking back and, you know, at times when I was younger in the business and kind of just, you know, going back and circling back on those relationships and adding some love to them, you know, because I think life is long. No one's perfect. And I think that, when you take some time and you reflect and you kind of, not say fix what's broken, but kind of put some love into it, I think it comes back full circle. And being able to be open and admit that, I mean, for me, it's, it feels good to kind of just let that go,
Yeah, definitely. And I think to some extent that's something every entrepreneur kind of needs to feel out for themselves, like when to bend, when to give a little, and then when to put your foot down. It's tough. I don't, like you can't really teach someone that. You just have to go into it, use your best intuition. Sometimes you might get burned, but that's how you learn. That's how you get better.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's your favorite part about what you guys do?
Everything. I mean, to this date, I'm just like, is this real? Like, are we this, like, we're doing it, and I'm grateful. I feel like the best part though is when, a project comes in and it's really about to happen. And for me, I think being on set, and like, there's like always like this like magical moment when you're like, we're out filming. It may seem a little chaotic in the beginning, pre-production, getting the gear ready and shot list and trying to figure out. And then once you get on set and like the crew is all in sync and the client's happy and they're seeing what we're filming, there's like this magical moment of just like this head nod that me and John will give each other, like, we're in it, And I think there's like, it's that moment's like, it just gives me just like, this is why we do it. It's rewarding, to see everything come together. And so for me, filming, I love the filming part of it.
Yeah. And I think for me, I kind of break it down into 3 sections. We have pre-production, production, and post-production. We call them A, B, and C. When A can equal C, like the vision and then the final product come together, that is, for me, I'm like, I love it, and it's that synergy. Me, I kind of handle A, Vince handles B, and we handle C together. So it's like, it's that well-oiled machine. And when it clicks, and it feels really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree, generally speaking. Like, the fulfillment is kind of what I thought you guys would say, just the reward and everything. Do you ever feel, obviously you guys took a big risk in the beginning, right? Like to do this, and like you said, you're in your parents' basement, and like it's funny, that's how Youtech was born too. Basement. But it. When your back's kind of against a wall like that, I think it can either add fuel to the fire or it can spook you a little bit too, like
definitely.
there's more risk involved, but it's also more rewarding. Were there ever times where you guys were like, man, I don't know if the reward is worth it, or has it been kind of smooth sailing for you?
Well, I think maybe I'll jump in for a little story time on this one. So right when I graduated college, I worked for a company, and right away I was kind of promoted within the company internally quickly, and they said, hey, do you want to go move out to Galena? And this was me, right, 24 years old, fresh out of college. I'm like, absolutely. So I went out there and I did it for a year. I was making good money. I was on my own. I had my own apartment. I was feeling really good. But something was lacking inside of me, like me and Vince. And keep in mind, JV was born in 2012. This was 2014 at the time. So he was working on projects. I was working on projects. And I'm like, you know what? The real world, I got to get a job, right? And so I did it. And I remember, I'll never forget this one conversation I had with Vince. And he's like, are you good? And I'm like, I'm good, but, I'm making money and paying off my loans, but I'm not happy, And he said, well, this is the time of your life. Take a risk, and join me, and let's really do this. And so I quit my job. And it was seamless. I quit my job. I put in my resignation. I found someone to take my job. I trained them. I found someone to take my apartment. I came home and took a couple other, odd jobs, but I took two years in my parents' basement solo while Vince was finishing college, just wrapping my head around, okay, how do I get an LLC? How do I do this? How do I do that? And there was times where, I was like, I wasn't getting a paycheck. And it was tough. And I was like, man, I was making all this money. Now I'm not making anything, but we're taking these projects. Everything's going into the business. We're building. As soon as Vince graduated college, within a month, we got our first studio. 6 months later, we moved out to our first apartment. We lived together. And it was like, and that's how we kind of like, we knew, but within that phase for me, there was a lot of doubt. And there was a lot of times I had to tap into, meditation. Meditation really helped me because it helped me rewire my mind of getting rid of fear, because there's two things you can do. You could stand there like a deer in headlights, or you could walk through the lights. You could take a leap. And my biggest thing was, I'm going to jump off this bridge. I don't know what's underneath it, but I have faith that I'm going to be caught. And we were,
Oh, I love that.
I don't know if I can top that.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was my moment. That's my story. It's like one of my favorite things. And it makes me happy to look back on it because I sometimes forget,
Yeah. Well, I know, like, with just every entrepreneur I've talked to, there's always that period of struggle and self-doubt. And, and I think along the way, there are probably bumps in the road too, that make you think, but then once you make it, I'm sure that feels so good. I mean, I just see you guys, like, I know you guys love this.
Totally.
You're so passionate about it. And do you guys find it interesting that you both kind of have the same career passion?
I mean, I think I think so. John, I know was like getting more into electronic audio. I was more like, I didn't go to school for audio or for video. I kind of was self-taught YouTubing, throughout high school. But I think once we realize that we can work together and without butting heads, and we can make money, and we can just do this thing on our own, I feel like it made our bond it just tied the knot a lot stronger. And sorry, I don't know if you guys heard that. I had a message come through. But pretty much,
me.
No. So pretty much, I felt like it was. Sorry, that just distracted me. Or was my point?
It's all
so
good.
I think what you're saying is, like the bumps in the road, and we're talking about like.
Oh, working together, same career path.
See.
Yeah, no, I feel like we both like educate each other on things. I think the best about us too is that, so John obviously does more management, but he knows he can do my job and I can do his job, but he could just do it better, and vice versa, right? So there's almost moments where I go off and I do all my research on the newest camera equipment and editing and stuff, and then I almost bring that back to John, get him up to speed, and he does the same with whether it's creating better proposals or figuring out ways to cut costs and how to save and different clients and outreach. So I feel like that's been like the benefit, is like there's always been a learning moment where, like, just when I maybe think I get ahead of my brother, he comes in with something more on a different end. So I think as long as we can keep learning from each other, it's just going to keep expanding, and we learn a lot about each other. And I think also, like, being brothers too, it's like always hard, right? Because it's like, Johnny, I mean, he's the older brother, so like in my eyes, he's kind of like the boss, but he respects that I also do my own things. But I respect him as a boss, even though sometimes as a brother, I don't want to agree because he's my brother, and so I'm the younger brother. So I think being able to bite my tongue in moments has been super helpful, and same with him.
I mean, to piggyback off that, when it comes to proposals, stuff like that, I feel like I do a pretty good job. I always run past and have Vince double check my work, because if it's just me and I'm tired and I miss something, which I am not good at grammar, Vince is great at grammar. So I build a proposal, send it over to him, and I say, mark me up. And he marks me up, and then we adjust it. But I think it's having this like humbleness to, like, yes, he is my younger brother, but Vince, when it comes to cameras, editing, the newest thing, you're my boss, So it's like, when it comes to that stuff, it's like, I think understanding that, we're both each other's, bosses, that's just how it works. And there's no ego within it. There's no like, I'm this. It's like, hey, we're both, up here, and our team is right here with us. It's not like we're all together,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Same goals. Yeah,
same goals, right? And listening to people, because there's a lot of our contractors, they have amazing ideas, and we're like, oh wow, like, thank you for that. Thank you for being, and that's like what we like to do, is like be open to share, because we're here to listen. Yeah,
I really like that, and it's cool that it's kind of shaken out for you guys whether, just by chance or by your amazing working relationship, that you have strengths in different areas and that you're both aware of that. And you don't try to put yourself where you're not strong, like if you've got, not even if it's a weakness, but if it's just an area where someone else is better, why would you try to step in when someone else can do it better, right? And so I think that's really enviable, that you guys have that kind of relationship there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just try not to keep no pride, no pride.
Yeah. I always like to say, let the leaders lead, and I think a good leader of a company, and I always, you see those pictures of it. It's not the guy that's sitting on the sled cracking the whip. It's the guy that's right in the front lines, pulling everyone, saying, let's go. And there's no one on the sled. We are all the sled,
Sure. I like that.
Love it.
So what would you guys say sets you apart? Like there's obviously in any industry, there are always, so many businesses that do essentially the same thing, but then there's always like little things that set them apart. What do you think it is for you guys?
I got something good. I know I've been kind of taking up a lot of space, but I'll be quick with it. I think it's the energy.
Okay.
I think the positive energy, the ability to collaborate on set with clients. It's not just video production. It's an experience, It is, it's more than business. It's friends. So like with our clients, it's not just hey, how you doing, John? It's, we get into it. We have fun. We loosen them up. We break them from their mundane life, of the 9 to 5 of this is what I do every day. And it's okay. Let's have some fun. We throw some nuts, we crack jokes. And then by the end of it, it's like, they're super loose. Like, that was amazing. And for me, that's kind of what I think sets us apart is that, obviously, and the visuals too, which I love.
Yeah, no, and I think that's more on like a in-person experience. But I think in terms of like our work, if you had to put like our work next to someone else, I think, and I know other companies are probably in a way can operate similarly, but I think the power between me and John alone, I think we have a lot of things we can bring to the table. So I feel like we're able, instead of like, hey, no, we need a 12-person crew to do this. Like John and I wear so many hats that people are surprised, like, oh my God, there's only 2 people that did this video, or almost only 3 videos. So I think the ability to operate super small and efficient, and it depends. So some clients get overwhelmed. They're like, oh, I don't have a budget for a 10-person crew. So it's like, okay, well, how can we give you the best result, with this amount of crew? So I think when it's me and John in the room, I mean, even this shoot we did on Monday, right? John was kind of acting as a producer, but also was like an assistant to me. I was also helping with lighting, doing camera. So I think the ability to like accommodate our clients and say, hey, we could still make you a video with a 3-person crew without being like gung ho on like, nope, sorry, we operate as a 15-person crew only, and take a number. Yep. So like really just letting them be heard and finding ways to always try to make it work. Obviously budgets are always left and right, and you do your best, but we're always here a client out, even if it's for a phone call. And if not, if we, give them a recommendation, it's giving people time of day. They are human. We're human. We're not better than anyone else. No business is better than anyone else, whether it's a corporate client or just a small business. We'll give you a shot, pitch it. What do you want us to do? How can we help? And I think that's a big thing versus just kind of cold shutting someone out. So I'd say it's something unique.
No, I like that. And I know even just dealing with you, Johnny, with my wedding, it was kind of that same way. I was like, look, this is my budget, and I'd love to have this full everything, possible, of course. But at the same time, I know that's not realistic. And I mean, everything came back beautiful. I was super happy with it. And I think maybe you hooked me up a little bit too, but no, all good. So what would you suggest for someone who is in a position where they have a business, they want to get some video created, maybe they don't know the direction they want to take with that, but they know that video is important. They know that maybe they've got a story to tell or some unique features, benefits that can set them apart from the competition. What do you guys think they should do, or how should they approach someone like you?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is set up a call, and typically me and Vince, the way we do our calls, we'll do them together, because I bring the logistics in. Vince brings the creative in. And really it's just, okay, let's take whatever's inside your mind and dissect it and get it on paper. And our slogan is ideas into action. So it's, let's take your ideas and let's make them something. Let's put them on the screen. And then, you know, when that happens, it's super cool to see that, you know, come from A to C again, you know?
Yeah. And I think like even going back even for like the initial person that's just like, I need a video, I have this company, I don't know where to start. I mean, do your research a little bit, you know, obviously don't expect clients to be experts, but I feel like, you know, looking at other companies just to really see like, does the style of what I'm going for match the work,
Right.
the aesthetic? Because there's a lot of companies that, I mean, there's so many companies that do video, but sometimes companies are looking for this very specific. So it's like,
Sure.
you know, is their work resembled? Do they have any type of culture on their page that like, all right, I feel like I can get along with these guys, right? And then, you know, a big thing we always ask, and it's not to like stroke anyone, but it's, hey, have you ever worked with a professional video production company? Just so we can gauge their level of like, they may say, no, I have no idea. I just want to shoot it on an iPhone, you know? And it's like, okay, well, you know, let's try to figure out, let's try to educate you a little bit of like, hey, if you really want it done right, here's what we suggest. And so I think before we even send them a proposal, we try to intake them as like, what type of client is this? Where do we think they stand on terms of quality, production? What do they need? And if the resources are there, we'll make it happen. And if not, we're always will offer a recommendation or try to point them in the right direction and help them that way. I think it's super helpful to someone who has no idea what they want, you know, and try to get them up to speed.
Yeah, no, I think that's well said. And just being cognizant of time, we've got about 5 minutes left, just so you guys know. But I've got one last question for you.
Yeah.
And it's with regard to what you just said, Vince. So have you found that there are people out there, clients who've been burned by other video photography companies, and you know that maybe they had a poor experience and they come to you? What kind of stories have you guys heard on that front?
Yeah, I think it's bound to happen between everyone. I think you know, I think what we found, some clients, they'll come to us saying, hey, the previous vendor, you know, they did a really good video, but like we didn't feel anything, you know, and obviously we don't try to say, oh, like what's the name, but I think to kind of like to help that not happening for us is like we will ask like, what didn't you like?
Right.
You know, what was it that didn't work, or what you know, was it the way they worked, or they weren't on time? And John, I don't know if you have any stories you want to share, but I think as far as like to answer that, it's sorry, I'm getting a little spacey. Sorry, John, if you want to jump in?
I'll jump in. So yeah, we did this video a couple of years back for this client, and just like that, she reached out to us and she said, I want to make this video. They were a nonprofit, and she basically said, our video last year, it was good. It lacked emotion. They weren't on time. They weren't communicating. And so that in that client's mind, they were left with, man, I don't know if I ever want to work with a video production company again because, you know, of that company. And it happens, you know. It's just like I was saying in the beginning, when we're younger, you know, you make mistakes and then those mistakes teach you. But those clients should always be heard and given a little extra care to. And it's kind of it's working through their traumas of, you know, what happened and how can we work together to make sure that doesn't happen. And then for us, me and Vince, we say, okay, well, we have to just, you know, add a little more love in this section here for pre-production. Let's really be clear, you know, so we're on the same page. And that's happened. We've got a couple clients like that, you know, and then there's just some clients that are just, you know, their visions are, they don't have it all together, you know, and so they don't know what they want. And so that's like, it's tough for them to articulate that. And when a company tries to fill that blank, they still don't know. And that's like, that's a tough one, but I think it's about just getting the vision clear. And if it's not clear, then it's like, okay, I think here's some homework for you guys to do. Yeah. Get clear on your vision, talk through it, and let's set up another meeting in a month, you know?
Yeah.
It's super, super important to be on the same page.
Oh, I love that. And I think you guys both kind of touched on a couple of really good points there. And that, number one, I think, and this is something that can be applied to any industry, you need to listen to people.
You gotta listen.
You can't be too over prescriptive and be like, no, I know what you want. You want this. Like, you gotta hear them out. You gotta hear them out. And something I know that's maybe a little bit more unique to video is I'm sure you guys hate this. I'm sure you've heard this before, but when people say to you, "I'll know it when I see it," or something of the sort, or they're like, "I don't like this." And you're like,
"Oh yeah,
what don't you like?" Like,
yeah, right.
I can do so many things, like what direction do you want me to take this? Can you at least give me an example or something like that? I'm sure you guys have run into that all the time.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of it is you'll make a V1 of a video, you'll send it. They didn't know what they want, then after they see that, now they know what they want, so they dissect it and take this out, take that. Now it's like you made a whole new video.
Yeah.
So one more thing I think that really helps us is if a client doesn't have that vision, but they know they want a video, we kind of say, hey, are there some reference videos of competitors or just other things in the industry? Send them over just to see the style of filming or the way they edited it. And normally that kind of gets us on the same page. And every client's different, man. And you get blessed with the good ones, and it's all right though. No one's perfect.
And there is something though that helps out, and I know we got about a minute left here. It's revisions, and so for us, we complimentary of in the contract we provide 2 rounds of revisions. We send them the video, and they're able to just say, add this, remove this, and that gives us a lot of flexibility with them to like, okay, let's fine tune this, and so giving that like wiggle room is important.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you guys. This has been super, super enlightening for me at least, and I'm sure it has been for other people as well. If people want to find you, what's the best way to do so?
Yeah, you can find, our website's thejvstudio.com, Instagram. JV Studios on Instagram. That's like probably our most up-to-date work. And then Facebook is just JV Studios. So.
Okay, perfect.
Look for the blue logo, like this, but blue. Bam.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your day. Happy Thanksgiving.
We're filming YouTube report.
Awesome.
Take care.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
Thanks.